So I think that's one thing that people oftentimes don't realize is that this isn't just a deli in the sense of we slice up cold cuts and throw them on bread. You guys are making the English muffins, making the bagels, making a lot of your breads. Everything is fresh, natural. A lot of it made right here.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what you guys do in terms of producing a lot of your own stuff here versus just calling up one of the big vendors and having them drop a truckload of bread off?
Yeah, we never wanted to do that. We go to food shows all the time, and all of these dressings you see in the 1 gallon buckets, and they're all labeled the same. You see them on the menu at other places, and you know it's the same dressing because it's out of a bottle. We never wanted to do that. And when we would go to a food show, we would always ask the vendors for ingredients.
Yeah.
I don't want pre-made stuff. I don't want a dressing in a bottle. I want to know that you have these ingredients so we can make the dressing ourselves.
Yeah.
And
Nobody samples Hellman's mayo. Like, you want the Rolls Royce of mayo? Yeah. Can you give me a deal? No. Okay. Well, then don't try to convince me on this.
Yeah.
Don't try to convince me on that. You either have it or you don't. Which that's one thing that COVID changed. You used to have 1 or 2 purveyors that could kind of work it out and feed your needs. You didn't know what you were going to get, when you were going to get it, if it was going to show up with no warning. So you were forced to cast a broader net and have multiple vendors and juggle and whoever has what. So you can kind of, I don't want to say play them against each other, but if somebody's out, you're not out.
Yeah.
Because for a while there, you could call 5 houses and nobody had bacon because they weren't sending bacon. Oh, well, bacon's on our menu.
But we need
gonna
bacon.
need that.
We need a lot of bacon.
Like nobody could,
Yeah.
nobody could give us a heads up. For a while, it was mayo. I mean, we go through cases and cases of mayonnaise in a week. We make all our own dressings in house. That was very important when we first started out. We weren't able to. We were limited for having enough refrigeration, having enough equipment, place to store it. Slowly, we were able to do more. And I always think of like the Steve Jobs movie about his life, the biography, and how he was always learning and moving forward and trying other things, and then just keeping those feathers in his hat. And then when it came time to totally flip the script and do something that nobody else thought was possible, it's ironic because we're looking at an iPhone, and how revolutionary that was. But he had the tools to get where he needed to go. Now I know we're just a deli, but we're part of people's lives. We're part of their community. We've seen people grow up. We've been through some of their hardships, mercy meals, or after a funeral. It's a special place in our heart. Even if we had something going on personal, we'll make that happen. We've been there, and people always step up in those times. And we're not just a big box store that doesn't care. So, and that comes through the food, right? We're huge with that. That if you care about what you're doing, people will taste the difference. They'll understand the experience. You're not just selling a sandwich.
Yeah, but you mentioned it's not just a deli. This is gourmet deli. This is not. It's a deli in the sense that's the category that you fall into.
Right.
It's not the food you serve.
Yeah.
It's not anywhere close to what you serve.
No, that's what we've always strived for. I had a regular who was going to UNE. It was I think a second career, and he was going to UNE, and he decided he was going to transfer into NYU. And he said, "Is all the food in New York, New Jersey this good?" And I said, "Yeah, I mean, when I left it was." And he came in a couple years later after he graduated and said, "I have yet to find what this is down there." He was actually kind of sad. I'll take the usual, and I made him a turkey Reuben, and I was like, wow, that's kind of disappointing. Because when I left, everyone was in it for the passion, and you could taste it, and things change, but that doesn't mean you have to do what everybody else does. That's what we've always
We don't want to do what everybody else does at all, ever.
always want to be there.
Yeah.
Well, that's the nice part. When you come in, between all the specials you guys have, because you guys mix and match some interesting flavors and stuff like we were talking about before that you look at and go, I like all these things. What are they going to be like together? Like there's always something new, but more so there's always the staples you can go to. The English muffins, the bagels. There's always those things that are you can just count on to always be good. Although what's inside of them may change.
Right.
Those items are just always good. They're always there.
Like a chicken Caesar wrap. For the life of me, I have never ordered a chicken Caesar wrap when I'm out. I don't know that I ever will. Apparently we have one of the best ones. I understand it, I get it, I make a lot of them.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know what's special about it. The dressing's
The
amazing.
dressing.
We
It's the
use the
dressing.
best quality Parmesan you can use. We only use pan-seared chicken. We go through an insane amount of romaine lettuce that we wash by hand. you know,
Cut by
5
hand,
sets
yeah.
of eyes have looked at that. It is ready for a magazine. Crunchy, perfect. So I get the why, but for me, I'm like, it's a Caesar wrap. Like, I want something different. You
But
know,
it's
like,
a good
but-
Caesar dressing. That's what it is.
But there's people that are like, that's my thing. That's what I want. And it doesn't compare anywhere else to what it is here. So, you know, people get their favorites. And I always say, if you're coming in with somebody for the first time, have them get what you usually get and you try something different. Because then you know you guys can share and maybe you're gonna try something that you've never had that you didn't know you liked. Because all of our sandwiches have to earn their place on the menu. If they're not selling, we take them off to try something new. And that changes too. Look, curry's back.
Every time it changes.
Changes all the time.
Yeah.
You never know. Changes with the season, changes with the weather, changes with, you don't know. Leading up till Thanksgiving, we'll sell a ton of stuffed bird panini. So that's like the Thanksgiving. So good. And we mix our cranberry sauce with the mayonnaise so that it doesn't end up in your lap. We did that intentionally. Been out to plenty of places. Love it separate. You're gonna put it together anyway. Why don't you just take the extra, 5 minutes, mix it together. Now it doesn't end up in your lap. After Thanksgiving, it's crickets. I mean, you can't give it away. Why would I want that?
Yeah, right.
Why would I want that?
Done with turkey.
Yeah.
Christmas rolls around. Oh man, I really want that again. You're like, okay, there's that month in there that you're like, okay.
Comfort
So,
food.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about the menu for a little bit. So what are some of those few kind of staple items that just continually come back or just continually stay on the menu? And then a loaded question, what is your personal favorite? I know they're like children. It's hard to pick one. What is your personal favorite on that menu?
Turkey Reuben.
Yeah.
That was quick.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's my absolute favorite.
Mine would probably be the Cousin Vinny. It's so good. You can eat it like 3 or 4 days a week. It's light. It hits all the notes. I love vinegar. I love the sour. It's just perfectly balanced, but you don't feel heavy afterwards. And then of course the Jersey Joe, because where I come from, New Jersey, there's maybe 6 or 7 towns, very, very, very tight knit community there's a large Russian Jewish population. And down there, when they make the slaw, they'll use Russian dressing instead of thousand.
What's it called down there?
Down there, it's called a sloppy Joe. But I knew in Maine, I couldn't call it a sloppy Joe
Because that's hamburger.
Totally different.
Yeah, that's on a bun.
Which
yeah.
in New Jersey, in my part of New Jersey, we call it a manwich because it comes out of a can because nobody makes that.
And in the Midwest, it's called a made right.
Okay, so there you go. So this very specific. So up here, I wanted to have it on my menu. And as I have friends and family that have come up, it's bigger, better, and less money than it is in New Jersey. In New Jersey, that's like a $25 sandwich. And it's smaller. And I had one a couple years ago and I went home and I was like disappointed. Like, wow, we do it better. So it's down there, it's Russian rye, Swiss cheese, you choose 2 meats, and then this slaw that is just really good coleslaw, but it's made with Russian. Up here, we do our own spin, we make it with 1,000. I use red cabbage to kind of give the same color, the same feel in the slaw. But it's triple decker, it's massive. Massive. If you finish it, you're probably gonna take a nap afterwards. But it's just, for me, that reminds me of home. It would be like the real Italian up here, which,
Anyway,
yes.
so what are those other few items that have been staples for you guys over the years that just continue to hang on, continue to come back?
The Waldorf has been on for a very, very long time.
That has, yep.
I think the Vermonter
Yep.
with the maple aioli.
Yeah, that one actually came to me in a dream, which sounds weird, but the Waldorf was something I wanted to do. We did it as a special. It sold really well. So we had these apples that we needed to use on a different sandwich. And I just had a dream one night that we could do it with ham and we could use the maple aioli, and that probably is the only thing that fights with a Maine for a number 1 or a number 2 spot is the Vermonter. And again, it's that maple aioli that you thought of. The Cowboy has been standard for a long time. Caesar's been on there since day 1. Curry's been on there since day 1, just came back. The Vinny, in some variation, has been on there since day 1. I'm trying to think of what else.
We didn't always have paninis.
We did not. No.
Because
We didn't have.
Was that picking up a trend, or was it something you just added later because you couldn't do it before?
I'm gonna go with both. We knew we wanted it, but we just didn't have a panini press.
We didn't have a
had no
panini
place
press
to
or
do
a
it.
space for it.
So we used to do just a turkey Reuben. We didn't even have a corned beef Reuben all the time. but we used to have to put a pan on the stove, run, not even lying, 20 feet to the stove to like put it on. It was electric, so you would just hope that it wouldn't burn. And you didn't get busy until you went to flip it, and then you lost a whole piece of bread because it got too dark and everything else. So I had an old instructor who's from Votech, who's a mentor of mine, who said, hey, I'm gonna be coming up in a couple weeks, wait till you change the menu, I have something for you. And he brought up a panini press that he had bought on Craigslist. I'm like, okay, now we have something we can do it with.
Game changer.
Game changer. So we had always wanted to, but it was like, wow, where are we gonna put it? What are we gonna do? Somebody gives you something free, you're like, oh, I'll figure it out. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna figure out how to make it work.
100%.
Yeah, so we did that, and then eventually we were like, well, this works so good for this, why don't we go in specifically for Reuben's? Okay, now we don't have to run as far, you're doing both sides at once, it's a lot faster, a lot better product in the end. So we did that, and then we were like, man, if we had more equipment. And slowly we just kept at it, really.
And then the opportunity to expand really raised the bar for us.
Really don't know how we did it. I know everybody says that and how cliche it sounds. I
But it's
remember
true.
catering, we would, there was only so much space, so oftentimes I was prepping until like 2 or 3 in the morning. It's a good thing I was younger, you know? And doing everything you could. And then on Friday night, the wedding was usually on Saturday, most of the time. We would empty out the drink cooler, straighten all the shelves and load all the food in there. So Friday night was the latest, and then Saturday you'd work all day, and then you would hope that you get enough rest on Sunday before you had to kind of do it all again, because there was just no refrigeration. On a busy summer day, we would sell through all the food, and I would pray that we could get it here in time to then prep it to be ready in time for lunch the next day. It was like, because all we had was reach-ins, we had
Two. We had
reach-ins.
two coolers.
No, it was tough.
It was a lot of moving parts,
Yes.
moving things around and making it work.
Yep.
Did that for 13 years?
16.
16 years.
When you're in the moment, you just figure it out.
You just
Yeah.
figure it out.
You go,
What was-
How
oh,
did we
stuff,
do
how did
that?
I do
Yeah, that's
It's
exactly
true.
it.
It's very true.
Yeah, cater for 150 people in 2 residential ovens.
It was time. That was the biggest thing. I would just take time. You know, there was only so much you could do. But I learned how to rewire electric ovens. It was cheaper than trying to replace pieces.
Yeah.
We did what we had to do.
All right. We got to go back to the pastry thing for a minute, because I don't think people appreciate how much you do in terms of pastry. So we've talked about the English muffins and the bagels, but you do a lot of other pastry items. What are some of the top items there?
Cream horns, definitely my top seller. I do regular vanilla buttercream. Last time I did a
Brown butter.
brown butter buttercream. I do one with peanut butter, which tastes like fluffernutter,
Yeah.
which is delicious.
Pretty incredible.
Brownies, blondies.
Staff's been hounding us to try the s'mores cream horn.
S'mores
So
cream horn. I gotta
trying to
do that.
figure that out.
Yep.
But yeah,
Napoleons,
everything's
puff
from
pastry in
scratch.
between. Yeah.
Cookies, I mean, we're very well known for our cookies. Chocolate chip cookies. They're quarter pounders. We don't exaggerate, they definitely are.
They're a meal.
They're huge. Yeah. And then different flavors of cookies, but pretty much anything that she makes is turnovers. She's very well known for blueberry turnovers.
Blueberry.
We have some regulars come up from Massachusetts. They'll buy them a dozen at a time.
Danish.
Danish, yep.
Whatever, pretty much.
A wizard in the bakery. Cupcakes, the most moist chocolate cupcake you'll ever have. It's insane. You're like, how is this possible? I have to have another. I don't believe it. I
Yeah.
cannot believe
I
it.
can't believe the first one. Got to try again.
Old family
It's all for
recipe.
research.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
it's-
exactly it. Yeah.
It's
That's
just
what it is.
incredible. Again, that's why the end company. We wanted to maintain a certain level of ambiguity, because then you're curious. You're wondering, well, what is that? And then you come in and you're like, it's like a bakery.
Oh, yeah.
Like I never would have thought. But you know, we like to try different things. We like to. She said, "You're nuts. You're going to do English muffins." I said, "Yeah." You're nuts. You're going to do bagels? Yeah. We tried to source them from a place in Portland that we loved, and they were so busy. I said, you know what? It was a snow day. I stayed home with my daughter, who is also an amazing baker, and I said, why not?
Let's
What do we
try
have
it.
to lose?
Yeah.
Let's give it a shot.
Figure it out.
We have the ingredients. We'll do it.
And yeah, I mean, for me, again, it tastes like home. Where I come from the land of where sandwich is a language, right? Oh, where are you from? What was your favorite deli in that town? My mom's favorite deli was in the center of town, Hill City Deli in Summit. And my dad's favorite town was the Town Deli, which was on the outskirts, because he was originally from the next town over. So that was what he knew. He liked the Sloppy Joes there. She liked the Sloppy Joes at the other one. And then you might even like a different deli if you're gonna go get an Italian style sandwich. It's just, it's like pizza. It's a different language down there. So, I mean, I guess it translates up here as well.
Yeah.
But as far as doing your own spin and being unique.
Well, that's what I love because it's different. I can go to any place in this area and I can find the Italian, the ham and cheese. I can find all the standards. Those are, cold cuts and all that. I can find it anywhere, but it's always a little different here. It's a different combination of flavors. It's different quality. It's different, just a different setup altogether. So you're getting deli, yes, but you're getting it's more of like a culinary adventure versus just a plain old sandwich.
Yep.
That's what we wanted.
Yep.
That's
Exactly.
what we wanted.
And I find myself having to walk past the case to see what goodies might be in there each day because I never know what I might want to bring home with me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the nice thing is it's not necessarily the same stuff every day either.
Right.
So just because you saw something yesterday doesn't mean you're going to see it again tomorrow or today or the day after that. So it's
And we try to put it on social media as much as we can
Yeah.
when we do something new or we try something or we do a different flavor. The great thing is that with the online ordering that we started doing through COVID, everything that we can see that we have live, you can see. So if you saw something on Instagram yesterday, you can normally bet if it's something incredibly popular like cream horns, she's either been making them for 2 or 3 days or she's made such a big batch. Go on and try to order them
Yeah.
and we'll pull them aside for you.
We can put a quantity on there so we won't run out.
Right.
Yeah.
so if people want to do the online ordering, where do they find it?
So you go to thedeliandco.com and there's a link through for the Toast Tab app, or you can go to Toast, download the app on your phone or even your computer, find us in there, the Deli & Co. And then you can, like I said, it's a really comprehensive POS online platform. You see exactly what we see. If you buy the last 2, the next guy can't get them, and I can't sell them in store
Right.
because it all pulls from the same quantity.
You can schedule 2 weeks out.
So if you know
Yeah.
you're having a meeting here, and you just need to grab some cookies and some lunch, and then you're gonna go to the other office, grab your coffee, grab what you have. I'm picking up order number 53. You're all set. It's already paid for. See you later. Even if there's a line, I'm just picking up. Okay, here you go. And it's very convenient. Yep. And we've had a lot of people that'll order breakfast online, and they'll come in and be like, geez, okay, I'm gonna grab some pastries now too. Is that okay? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it's fine.
Or they'll come in the morning, especially in the summer or when it's nice, they're gonna go to the beach. They'll grab breakfast, have it here with some coffee, and then grab sandwiches, throw them in a Ziploc, put them in the cooler, and go fishing, go to the beach, go do all the great things that Maine has to offer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So remind people, where are you and what are your hours?
Sure, we're at 110 Main Street in Saco. So we're in the mill building, right between Run of the Mill and the train station. Same building as Social Security. And we're right on the first floor, which is technically the second floor, because it's positioned odd. Weather permitting, the patio is always open until it gets super cold. But you can walk right in. We have 2 doors, door from the patio, door from the inside of the building. Currently we're doing Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 2:30. And we shifted back a little bit because a lot of people said, as we brought breakfast back, that they needed more opportunity, more time to get it before they had to be at work. So that's why we shifted from 8 to 3 to 7:30 to 2:30. So now you have more of an opportunity to do that. So you can still get your breakfast or get your coffee, get your pastry, and still be at work before 8, where before it wasn't an option.
Awesome.
Yeah. The deli was our first baby,
Oh, yeah.
and we paid for our own wedding.
Oh, we should definitely talk about that.
And so we actually weren't married when we started because we had to save enough money to pay for the wedding. So we got married a year into it.
Yeah.
So, sometimes if you have to go to work and it's right around Christmas or it's a late night or something, it's family. It's where people feel comfortable. It's where we feel like home, and it takes care of us. We take care of it.
Yeah, I think it's neat because it really is a family affair. When you come in, oftentimes you'll see kids out back and they've been involved. You guys are all involved, doing all the various things that it takes to keep this thing running. And that exposure for kids, especially, to see what it's like to run a business and have that kind of responsibility it's got to be pretty incredible.
Yeah.
It is. I don't know if they'd agree with it, but it is from our standpoint that they are going to have a really good work ethic because they've been in the kitchen since my daughter, I have a picture of her standing on a 5-gallon bucket whisking something, brownies or something, you know.
Yeah, she couldn't have been more than this tall.
No, she was just a little peanut, but she was working.
Yep.
She was working. So.
I think probably the best part that people don't talk about enough in the restaurant industry is the satisfaction you get from the instant gratification. You know, you instantly know somebody had a great experience. They want to talk about it. They want to tell you about it. They want to tell you what they loved. And if it wasn't the greatest, they're going to give you an opportunity to fix it. But it's that conversation that you don't realize how much you enjoy it until you maybe take a vacation or you talk to someone else. And it's like, but you don't get that? That's so, I feel bad for you. Like,
Yeah.
it's nice to, you know, even when you're busy and people, they understand. Maybe there's a wait. Maybe you're just so busy, but people want to be where it's busy. People want to, because you never go to a restaurant that's slow. You want to go to a restaurant that's busy. The food is fresh. They obviously know what they're doing. Everyone's working like a well-oiled machine. You know, on a beautiful day, might be a little bit longer of a wait, but there's a reason for that. Everyone's getting their favorite that day. So I feel like that's the part that really hooks you in a restaurant. You don't realize, nobody talks about it. That instant gratification. Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever eaten.
You know right away.
Well, it's made my day.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
All
no,
right.
True. That feedback's got to be good to hear.
I love when
Yeah.
people give reviews like that, like online or Facebook or Google, because as soon as I get them in my email. I share them with the staff because it's very important that they know that they're important to these people. You made these people stay.
It's a ripple.
Because you had a great sandwich.
We had 2 people call last week.
Mm-hmm.
That still happens. I know, it's very old school. But people will call back and go, "Are you for real? This is awesome. I had no idea." "No, I hope you come back." "Oh, yeah. Sorry I took so long." It's okay. Better late than never.
Exactly.
But, you know,
We're
that's what,
waiting for
yeah, exactly. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to give somebody a different view of what it could be, what it should be. And, you know, we're all in this together. So the more we can acknowledge when we have a good experience, now I'm going to turn around and want to do the same when I go out. Whether it's go out to a local hardware store to buy paint, or, you know, you're going to acknowledge that, oh, this place goes above and beyond. That's what I want to do. That's where I want to be, and that's where I want to go and frequent. Spend my money there. Because a lot of the big boxes, you know, unfortunately, it's not the case.
No, there's not a face or a name that you're working with. It's just it's a brand. You go in, you go out.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, that's what we're trying to do with small businesses, right?
Exactly. So most rewarding is the feedback piece. Let's talk about
Yeah.
what's been the most challenging thing for you guys as small business operators.
On a whole or recently?
COVID, really.
Yeah.
So
Every-
as a whole.
Everything since COVID
Yeah.
has been just increasingly difficult.
Yep.
From not being able to get products that we normally can get to staffing. We've had some great people that have stayed with us, which we're very fortunate for, but not everybody has had that. We've had people come and go. It's not their gig, and that's okay. It's hard work.
It is.
You're on your feet for 8-9 hours a day running. You don't sit down in the kitchen. Even my kids know, you know, you lean against the sink while you're eating your lunch. There's no place to sit down. So,
And I think that's an industry, the industry on a whole
yeah, it is.
has changed. I just don't know if people got used to not doing that for work anymore, finding something else to do. I'm not sure. Or didn't find it as rewarding. Maybe didn't go to places that have that feedback, that interaction with the customer. You know, she's right. That's the first thing we'll do. Oh, we just got a great review, everybody. It doesn't matter if you're the one who made the sandwich. We all contributed.
Everybody had their
right?
hands in it. Yeah.
We all contributed to that overall experience of getting a good review, to that person calling back on the phone. We all get credit for that because we're all a team.
It wasn't smooth sailing up until then. We've
No.
had our hardships
Sure.
from ovens blowing up to
A fire on your first day, I heard.
yeah,
Yeah.
that definitely
Yeah.
happened.
The previous owner had a conveyor
toaster.
kind of like most Dunkin' Donuts have.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
We decided we wanted to use an oversized sliced bread and we didn't think about how that might get stuck.
Yeah.
Everything was going great. We're like, oh geez, I guess I just forgot to put one in. One of the customers, there was literally a line out the door. One of the customers
it was.
like,
It was just he and I.
is something burning down back there, or what's going on? We're like, we toast. So we quickly got rid of that. We sold it. Decided we didn't need that.
It didn't work out
Yeah.
for us.
So.
And then we ran out of money the first day. We had to
Cash, yeah.
cash
Yeah,
change.
we didn't have enough change.
We had a regular that was downstairs. He wasn't regular at the time.
No,
He was
became
working
regular.
downstairs, and he was in line, and he's like, "What do you need?" I don't know you.
Yeah.
I said, we need some ones. He's like, I'll go get them for you.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, cool, thanks.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was crazy. So we've met some really great people through the years, for 20 years. So that helps a lot.
I think sometimes the hours worked, but it's overall, that's the restaurant. It's controlled chaos, or
That's what it is.
so we like to say.
Yes.
Controlled chaos.
But it's with every challenge, there's an opportunity to overcome or adapt or figure it out. COVID was this, when you woke up the next day, where are you going to be able to operate?
Tricky.
In what
It's
capacity
tricky.
and how? And I'm so glad we have this dining room that's 2/3 the size of our whole space that we couldn't even have people wait inside. So that was tricky. But
We never
coming out of
closed.
it.
We never closed.
Nope.
No. We did a lot of meals to go. We did a lot of Thanksgiving meals to go. We did Easter first, a big Easter dinner. People could order Easter dinner online.
However, we
and
were only allowed to sell in packages of 4 to 6, so we wouldn't be encouraging a crowd.
A lot of restrictions you got to do.
Yeah, that was tricky, but
But we did it.
that helped keep the doors open because we did that.
I think we
had
did
it was huge Easter.
90 Easter,
Dinners.
Thanksgiving dinners.
Yeah.
I made like 100 quarts of gravy. We thought it would be popular, but we ended up having to close the deli for 3 days to finish the prep for all of these. I mean, I think we made like 60 or 70 turkey, and they were big turkeys. Like, even with the increased capacity and with the walk-in, with all of these things, it was like, wow, this is still gonna be hard. But we did it, and like she said, it kept the doors open, it kept the bills paid, and it kept all the employees
Kept the
paid.
employees paid.
Yeah, and we were grateful for it. We just pivoted, we adapted, we just put on the catering hat, catered for a whole lot of people, and just packaged it small.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Pivot.
There's a lot of that. Yep.
It's a life of a small business owner, right? You've got to adapt and pivot.
That's exactly it. And if you don't, then you're gonna be left behind.
Yep.
You have to scurry to find a better online platform than we were using because our online platform didn't have any pictures or anything. It was just very,
It was set up for retail,
very.
not for restaurant. And we knew of the program we ended up switching to. However, the cost was, exorbitant. While COVID hit, that was probably one of the
Better things that we could afford.
80% of the cost was the in-person personnel that they would send.
Programming.
And they would help you set up, they'd be there for a day or two and all this thing. It was like, we can mail you the hardware, maybe talk to you on the phone for a little bit, but
Give you a
we're
little
like,
intro. We're like,
we
okay.
can DIY just about anything,
Yep.
as long as you can walk us through it. Yeah, so we were like, okay. And they even gave us 3 months free. We bought a tablet. We were able to do 3 months free just to try it and see, like, okay, is this really gonna work? And sure enough, it did. So we were like, okay, we're sold. We had to.
We had to. Otherwise, because it was curbside, nobody wanted to come in.
Yeah.
So, staff would run food out and,
But we would have to then take the payment at the car using Square. We were selling beer and wine to go because we were allowed to do that. Because when we did the dinners and stuff, we did do beer and wine. And unfortunately in America, not a lot of people drink beer at lunch. I know, it stinks.
I know.
I know. I don't like it either, but that's the way it is.
It's frowned upon. So.
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I know. So we would have to go out, scan the ID. Cool, we can sell you this, and then run your card, and then generate a receipt or email, because we didn't even have a little printer with us. So by switching to a new platform, everything was paid for online. basically we're just like, here you go, you already paid for it. So now we can still use that to our advantage. As I said, you know, you can come in and just order 24. Cool. There you go. One bag. You're done.
It's so nice that's just the normal.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Easy.
And it's great because you can see. So, you know, even if you didn't have time to call, you're in a business meeting or something, you had a second, oh, let me see if they have any. Oh, cool. Wow, they have cream horns today. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and order 12. Done. Pickup time, 2 p.m. Cool. You know, if I'm running 15 minutes late, I'll just call them and tell them, but they're already paid for. Therefore, we're going to pull them aside, box them up. Here you go. I can't sell them because they're sold. So that covers you on that. So a lot of people have seen, as soon as they see that picture of the cream horns go up, they're on there. We've tested that actually. We put something up like 10 at night. Doesn't matter. You know, 30 are sold.
Yeah, because people can order at 2 o'clock in the
Where they're
morning if
not
they
open.
want to,
It's like
and then
concert tickets going.
Yeah.
yeah,
Refresh.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
exactly it. So when we
Yep.
come in, we've already sold 30. Cool. All right.
So it's helpful.
50, you know?
Yeah.
50.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, that's what it was with those meal replacements. We were like, with the Thanksgiving and the Easter. I think we even did it for Mother's Day that first year.
I think we did.
And that was great. And we were like, oh, wow. Oh, they're still coming in. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess we're closed tomorrow. Here we go.
Hold on to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway,
But it worked. Kept the doors open.
good.
All right. Really appreciate the time.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
So for those who haven't been to the Deli Company ever, or maybe even in a little while, definitely stop on by.